Reiner Knizia's Tigris Euphrates is both an abstract tile-laying game and an immersive battle between dynastic powers building kingdoms in Mesopotamia. With only 2 actions each turn, players use their tiles, 4 leaders, and disasters to develop and control kingdoms that spread across the game board. As the game progresses, conflicts arise both internally from conflicting leaders and externally from merging kingdoms. Having leaders and kingdoms allows you to score, and each player's lowest score among 4 categories determines the winner. This scoring system prevents over-specialization and rewards balanced strategies, with players discovering new strategies with each game. It's no wonder Tigris Euphrates is often regarded as Reiner Knizia's masterpiece. And that's why Tigris Euphrates has been inducted into the BoardGameGeek Hall of Fame for 2025.
Tigris Euphrates is a very odd duck of a game. And I think it's very special, and let me just bear with me for a minute here, and hopefully this will lead you to where we want to go, is when I play this game, not all aspects of it, but many aspects of it, make me feel like I'm playing a game that is hundreds of years old. It does not feel like a modern board game. Now there are certain other aspects that, you know, like this, there's a particular scoring mechanism in this that feel very modern. But the game itself is very abstract, like a chess or a checkers. It feels like, you know, in these ancient times with all these different varied religions and societies and governmental structures and stuff popping up and disappearing left and right, this has that kind of vibe with that. And it's all done through just placing little square tiles. There's no like dudes on a map, there's no dice rolling, there's no, you know, extra hands of cards, there's no, you know, smorgasbords of mechanisms. It's just very straight up simple tile placement. And there really is no other game like this since. And this came out, I think, in 1999, maybe 97. And really there's not been a game like this other than Yellow and Yangtze, which is another Reiner Knizia game, but it's kind of like a riff on this. So that if you want a different theme, you could do that. But there is something to me very peculiar about this, where I feel like I'm playing like a chess or checkers type of game, but then it has a little bit of this heaviness to it in terms of like the ideas of what it's representing and the kind of the headspace that it puts you in. And to me, that makes it very special, because in a similar way of chess, where you had the idea of these armies, you know, with the pawns kind of in the front lines and the special units behind, and the king and the queen, the generals, so to speak, in the back line and trying to protect, you know, the main general, the king at the time. This kind of touches on some of those similar types of vibes with that, with the, again, the abstraction of ideas and the explosion and growth and then collapse and growth again and collapse again of opposing ideas in the cradle of humanity. So to me, that's what makes this still a very, very special game.
Reiner Knizia is my all-time favorite board game designer. He's pretty great. I don't know how, possibly some type of witchcraft, but he manages to distill things down to their core components, and what he manages to take from them is everything that goes into this game has to have a decision point that's easy to understand but devious to make, and he distills it all down to fun. And one of the greatest of all examples of this is Tigris Euphrates. Not his simplest game, but it is a game that does something I cannot put into words. There's so much joy to be had in that game, even though it's so incredibly brutal and vicious. The Tigris Euphrates, it's one of the most devastating war games out there in many ways. I'm taking over your whole thing and getting loads of points, but I'm still gonna lose because I've only got 6 red cubes, and that's my lowest cubes. There's always that twist. I've always called it the Knizia twist, and Tigris Euphrates has that just perfectly done, where the scoring is your lowest cube at the end, you know, out of the ones that you can collect. And it's just like, I've done so well in so many other aspects. I've been the greatest warlord in all of Middle East. But no, you still lose because you weren't balanced in all things. What a magical experience. Infinitely replayable, always different. Kind of weird to learn and understand with the whole internal and external revolts. No one truly understands it. But it's one of the most fundamental examples of what makes Knizia such a fantastic designer.
Tigris and Euphrates by Reiner Knizia. I believe that Reiner Knizia is probably my favorite Euro war game designer. I really love this strategic game. It's one of the, I would say, bigger or more complex game in the work of Reiner Knizia. And this one has a lot of things going for it that makes me love it so much. The first thing is the theme. I think that the ancient Mesopotamia is not necessarily something that is depicted a lot and that I have a particular interest in, so for me that was the first thing. The second thing is that I think the gameplay is extremely clever, the design is extremely sharp, extremely elegant. This tile laying system is very cool, it gives player a lot of decision-making space to play around. The scoring system, where you're trying to score victory points in different categories at once, and you cannot commit to just one type of victory point, but you're trying to find a stable equilibrium between your different aspects of the civilization that you're growing, is really elegant. And yeah, it's very smart. There is a lot of input randomness, so you don't know what you're gonna get, but you have to do the best that you can with what you have. Is very, very cool. And I also think that the very old school version, I have the German version here, is the best because it has those very cool wooden pieces, and I would never trade them for anything plastic. It is a beautiful game, a masterpiece, a classic. Everyone needs to play it at least once.
Thank you to all the contributors who helped make this video, and thank you for joining us in celebrating these incredible games and designers who have shaped the hobby we love. For more details and to explore even more amazing games, visit BoardGameGeek.com.